you want. It's been a couple of weeks since I've done any Stav-Tech video, and even more than that since I've done anything showing you the MR2, but I've been doing loads. Thing is, yeah, well, I didn't show anything because after all these last couple of videos where you've seen it running and all that, it's like, what's the point of doing another video when you see it running? You need to see it driving. So I've just left it for now until it was in a drivable state. And also, as you would have seen from the last video, I was selling loads and loads of stuff, and anyone who sells shit knows that takes some effort to post shit and whatever. But pretty much all of that gone now. Literally the last things being collected on this weekend coming. So yeah, on to this. I genuinely don't even remember for sure what you lot last saw with this. Did it have the wheels on? I think so. I'll show you everything it's got. Right, so as I've said, pretty much, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not complete, but it's near as damn it. We have got all the engine done, all the gear linkage done. It goes into gear, you know, all 6 gears, and reverse, of course. There's a bit more wiring done. Pretty much all the wiring's done. There's no more water leaks, which is good. There was a couple of minor water leaks, absolute zero now. Yeah, literally engine bay remaining is literally plug in the 1 knock sensor, which we need to move the loom a bit to make it thick. This is a bit short at the moment, and tidy up a little bit the wiring, which is just temporary. And I need to make the boost sensor for the AM gauge work, because for some reason it's not showing on the gauge. But yeah, it goes in gears, and you know, job done. It's got, as I hope you can see, it's got drive shafts, custom ones Thomas has made. They should hopefully work. I reckon they will. Thomas is like, well, I've never done ones exactly like these before, but we'll have to see. But me looking at them, I'm like, that's surely strong enough. So yeah, again, apologies if the camera work's not brilliant, but I cannot see the screen. This GoPro's knackered. I need to buy a new one. The rear lights are on because for driving it I need some rear lights so people actually know I'm going to stop. I mean, I'm only going to drive it up and down the street, but regardless, need to see that. In the front, the charge cooler pump's wired in now. Charge cooler's got fluid, basically done. We did up the strut tops because there was a wanker. In here, it's, wow, it's probably the biggest changes. I had the steering wheel last time, I think. I can't remember. But I've got, there's no more warning lights on the dash, you know, for things, because obviously this is not running the stock setup. Things like airbag light, engine management light, blah blah blah, was lighting up beforehand, obviously. But although most modified cars, they just leave shit like that, I have now modified the clocks so there is no more lights that shouldn't be lit, which is nice. I've got a horn button there, which is inspired by how my yellow one came, because my yellow one was like that, and it's much better than fucking about with it there. I've no longer got a center console because I was messing about, sort of you know, working out where I was going to put buttons and switches and whatever. Then I thought, why am I even caring about a fucking center console? This is a stripped out, you know, noisy weapon of a car. I don't need the center console. It makes life a lot easier if I don't have it. So I fucked it off. There was something funny going on with the starter, as in something from the ignition. There was power to the starter solenoid and, you know, all that stuff, no problem. But now and again, you would turn the key, nothing would happen. No, it wouldn't, the relay wouldn't go. That makes, well, the ECU wouldn't tell the solenoid to start. So it's like, but then 2 seconds later, you try again and it would. So what the fuck is going wrong? So in the end, it's like, bollocks to this. I don't want to be stranded one day, because we couldn't work out what the hell's wrong. Everything seemed fine. It's because it was an intermittent problem. So something's loose somewhere. So in the end, I fitted a starter button instead. So yeah, then it won't leave me. So obviously the key still activates everything, the engine, the whatever. So you can't do fuck all unless the key's in the on position. But that isn't what starts it now. That does. Because you can, even if this is off and no key, you could turn the engine over with the starter, but it won't go anywhere because you need the ECU and everything to be activated, and that's with the key. Because there's no center console, I've relocated the window switches to here on where the fag lighter used to be. It's a bit ugly, but I don't really give a shit, but it works. So I've got windows. I don't smoke and it's a bit pointless, so I fucked off the fag lighter and I fitted a twin USB thing, because where it used to be, because USBs, well, we know our use for that is charging your phone, charging your GoPro, charging your fucking whatever. Yeah, useful, especially because this is, you know, a road car. And for the same road car reasons, I've kept the cup holders. Gauges are in, gauges all work now. Well, I say they all work. Air fuel ratio works fine, oil pressure works fine. Boost, for some reason, is saying it can't see the sensor, like it's not plugged in. And oil temp, I need to put the sensor in the sump, which I haven't done yet. It works, but the sensor's just out in the open at the moment. So yeah, everything else is all wired. It obviously needs tidying up and tidying away. I went to Badger 5 the other day, who's the guys, the 18T, sort of the number one, in my opinion at least, the proper 18T gurus in this country, the best tuners of them there is. You know, they're the ones that end up mapping other people's cars and fixing other people's problems. Never, you know, as well as their own stuff. They seem to be the ones that fixes everyone else's fuck ups. But anyway, they are fairly local to me. I want them to map it because, well, they're the ones for me. You know me with tuners and stuff. I don't rate hardly anybody, but I do rate them. And they're gonna map the car for me. That's my only, you know, literally I wouldn't even think of going nowhere else. But it wasn't, the ECU wasn't mapped before, so it wasn't mapped for the bigger injectors. And although it was, you know, thanks to the wideband and everything working, you know, pretty cleverly on these, it was probably still drivable like that, but it was definitely rich. And they was like, well, fuck it, just come down and we'll flash, you know, a base map with the correct injectors onto it. So I popped down there the other day and Bill mapped, well, Bill plugged the ECU in to the box of tricks and put a base map for this correct size injectors on it. So now it's got a base map which is, to be fair, is probably relatively close to what this setup needs, but you know, not completely, of course, because you know it's got a different turbo and stuff to nearly all of these setups with these injectors. But now it's mapped to these injectors, so like at idle it's at lambda 1, it's fucking, you know, spot on. So yeah, all good basically. Everything works on how it should, which is fucking good, because I wouldn't say I'm not like I'm rubbish at electronics, but I'm got zero confidence in my electronics work. But I've done it all and everything works. All the windows work, the starter works when it should, the kill switch works when it should, the horn works when it should, the gauges work apart from the one can't see the sensor for reasons I've not even looked at yet, and so on. So yeah, it's fucking alright. Now it just needs tidying, because basically we've left it all like this so we can troubleshoot, because what's the point of hiding all the wires and tidying all the wires and then it's like, oh shit, something don't work, so you have to take it all apart again. So we've left it like this just so we can troubleshoot. Another thing I had to do was strip off the one rear brake caliper, because it was basically the obviously this car was standing for years before I bought it, and the caliper had seized up, so it was binding on this side. But I did that, stripped it apart, greased it up, moved it about, it's spot on now. So yeah, literally this is now truly drivable. How well it's going to drive, I don't know. Oh, that's the point. Last time you saw it, it didn't have a throttle pedal, of course, well, not one in place, but now it's got the actual 180 electronic throttle in place in the OEM. Well, look, it looks OE, but no, that is a Volkswagen Audi one, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, this conversion in a later video, not this one because I need to work it out, I need to price up exactly what I've spent on this, because in my opinion this conversion is almost certainly the best bang for buck car you could possibly build. A mid-engined rear-wheel drive, very light, very powerful, incredibly tunable car. It's very easy to work on, very easy to live with, very cheap on parts. This thing's going to be somewhere between 300 and 350 horsepower and about 900 kilos. 6-speed box, and you know, totally unstressed, normal pump fuel, goes like fuck, loads of grip, loads of everything, amazing handling. And I don't know for sure, but I don't even think I've spent £5,000 on this car, including buying it. The car cost me 400 quid. The roof cost me 800 quid. That was the most expensive part of this whole car. Engine, the whole lot. Engine, box, pedal, ECU, loom, all that was like £300. Do you know what I mean? It's like charge cooler, 100 quid. Gearbox and clutch and flywheel, less than 300 quid, 250 I think. You know, I've got the white line suspension, all this loads of stuff. But even after all this, I don't think I've got 5,000 quid in this car, which is insane for what it's going to be. But hey, genuinely, a K-swap in the UK, you wouldn't even get a basic K-swap running for 5 grand, even if you already own the car. I know that because Thomas was over 5 grand in on this K-swap, and it was not even close to being ready. And to get a K-swap to this sort of performance is a lot more money than that, because all, you know, people can wank off all they like about, oh, you know, K-swap does 1,000,000 horsepower on stock internals and all that. You know, the main reason why Thomas was put off his K-swap halfway through, because we were speaking to mappers, you know, Honda mappers, actual Honda mappers, not like just random billies, but Honda mappers in the UK. And we was like, you know, and they was like, so what do you want to do? How far do you want to push it and whatever? And most of them wasn't really happy or confident pushing a stock internals one past fucking 350 horsepower.
Steve's MR2 for the first time actually moving at all. this doesn't seem lean.
I don't know about from outside, but really it sounds crazy.
Well, do you have one bypass? This was really cool outside. It does. That bloody 4-inch exhaust is huge, but it does sounds good. Obviously, a lot of cars around. It's busy today, as ever. Obviously, Jesus, how much traffic.
Doing alright, is it?
Yeah.
It's hitting some kind of cut as well. Or if you give it any, yeah. Hold on, let me move out of the way of this.
Maybe bus?
Yeah.
What's this?
Yeah.
Oh, the company chopping up.
It sounds mint as well, but it still needs mapping, so I can't give it loads, but it
What's
fucking
this,
runs.
you?
Yeah, my one, yeah. Yeah, it's fucking... All you can hear is the turbo and the engine and shit, so...
It's a bus car probably, is it?
Yeah, probably. But yeah. Right, so, sounds in it. Yeah, I reckon so, I'm not sure. Might be boost cut, might be, you know, because the AFR, they'll have all the safeties on it, won't it? So
Yeah.
it might be that it's getting lean. I mean, I can't, I mean, I'm hardly even revving it. I don't think I've even got to like 4,000 RPM.
Really?
Yeah, it's hardly fucking revving
No,
it.
it moves.
Yeah.
When you put a fucking, it lifts the front.
Yeah. I mean, literally fucking, I don't think I even got to 4 grand. Yeah, 4 grand is the rev limit. Goes well for only 4,000 RPM though, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Mate, it lifts the front when you put it.
Yeah.
So it's cool as well.
It's fucking lively. So, yeah, but yeah, it only revs to that so far. So, let's make sure everything works all right, then
Yeah.
get it mapped. Yeah, it does, yeah.
Another one?
If you want. We've got an audience now. Yeah, it's only a 4 grand limiter. Put your mouth near the tailpipe. It's alright, isn't it? This might be a launch control map. I just thought it might not be a running in map, because he did say to me, have you got the clutch switch hooked up? And I was like, no, we aren't bothered with that. This, which I can't even remember what I've told you about it so far. Actually, I have told you. Thomas has been 118 it. And yeah, it's coming along really nicely. It's not finished yet, but it's not far off. And I tell you what, it looks right at home in this engine bay. No bonnet modifications. It's far easier to get in and out than the original engine, the original crappy 1.48 valve non-turbo. It's really nice to work on, like literally Oil filter's just there. You can get your hand under there and change all the NOx sensors, everything. Inlet manifold's off in 5 minutes. Turbo's there, it comes off in minutes. Air filter's in an amazing place for not only cold air, because you've got the scuttle panel there and that's a high pressure area, but also just in front of the driver's seat. That's going to sound absolutely fucking ridiculous. Yeah, uses the vast majority of OEM parts, basically. Most of the OE Audi, Volkswagen hoses, even a header tank. Yeah, it's fucking really good. Again, Badger 5D immobilised that ECU for us, because once this is done, this will end up going to Badger 5 as well. I don't know the owner's exact plans yet. I can only presume he will want to pull it on bigger injectors and a better fuel pump and then take it to be mapped. I genuinely don't know. I would personally. Also, yeah, look, front mount, just a 2.5 inch alloy, you know, normal front mount. But yeah, this is all good. Even the strut brace, which is there, still fits. Didn't plan it to. Thomas didn't think it would, but I just thought, oh, I wonder. So I checked last night, and yeah, it still fits. So that's a winner. But yeah, it's really fucking good. Sort of, it's right at home in this engine bay. You know, far more modern than the factory Ford engine. Now it's got drive-by-wire throttle, hydraulic clutch, you know, proper cable gear shift setup, 6-speed, 20-valve turbo, VVT. You know, it's modern, but it fits really well. And obviously, no end of possibilities now tuning-wise with one of these under the bonnet. 3-inch exhaust, turbo back. It's got a sports cat as per the owner's wishes, just so it would MOT easier and stuff. But yeah, it's as cool as fuck. Like I said, it's the same spec as mine, same manifold, same turbo, stock internals. All that this has got at the moment is stock ECU, stock injector, stock fuel pump. Personally, I would put bigger injectors and stuff on it and then get it mapped. I don't know what the customer wants to do. He's a friend of mine, Darren. I haven't spoken to him about. I mean, to be honest, even the stock injector limit, which is probably 260 odd, I think, 260, 270 probably, would be an absolute weapon in this. But when you can make another, you know, 30, 60, I don't know how far you want to push your stock internals, with the same setup, just with some injectors, I think I'd have to. So yeah, it's fucking cool. I mean, look, same engine, but completely different way round. So while my exhaust side is super easy to get to, my inlet side is a bit of a fiddle. On this, the inlet side is super easy to get to. The exhaust side, wow, it's nowhere near as easy as mine, but it's actually, thanks to how Thomas has designed it, not bad. I must admit, it's this side, the inlet side, which has got a lot more shit, which is hard to access. There's NOx sensors under there, so all the oil filter and oil feed for the turbo and whatever lines are all under there, and the alternator, and you know, a lot of complex shit. But I can reach it on mine still. It's just a bit fiddly, but hey, not too bad. And it's still a lot easier to work on than the factory engine, a K-swap, and especially these fucking V6 conversions people do, because they are not at all easy to work on. So hey, there you go. What shall I show you now? I'll tell you what, I will show you all the dash stuff. So we have kill switch. Ignore the bing bing bings because they're bloody annoying, but no dodginess on the dash, no Lights, gauges are all operational. Electric windows, if I put the ignition on. Electric windows all work. And yeah, it fucking, you press this and it fires up. 75 psi oil pressure. It's on some shitty thin oil at the moment, but yeah, it's hardly got any fuel unfortunately. All good. So yeah, overall I am fucking very pleased, very pleased. Obviously now just means driving, some testing, all seems good. There's no more water leaks. It was all minor stuff, you know, from pipes and this, that, the other. It was all very easy to fix. Jubilee's not being very good at sealing, you know, little fucking silly things. So yeah, all good. On another note, a similar note, I have a new car. This thing here, which is the most nothingy looking Seat you've ever seen. Because, well, it's a Seat Toledo, and nobody really bothers with them in the UK. Nobody even remembers they exist. They're kind of like, well, kind of like a Volkswagen Bora is to a Golf. As in, it's got a boot. It's a Leon with a boot. A Leon saloon rather than a hatchback. But the only reason I own it is because I wanted a donor vehicle for an engine and box to put in my yellow MR2 daily, which the standard 1ZZ engine has now shit itself because they are crap. They are, I mean, everyone knows, you know, they're oil burners anyway. They're fucking pretty rubbish engines, and they got about 5 horsepower. But it's now seems to have done the head gasket. It's not overheating yet, but yeah, I wouldn't be driving it around much because it's honest, you know, it's dead really. I can drive it, but I wouldn't be using it as a daily because it's fucked. So I was looking, a bit of a story behind this. I wanted to buy a PD 150 engined something as a donor, and PD 150 is basically what that is the Volkswagen 1.9 TDI engine, the PD, which is a pump deuce or something. It's just a type of diesel injection setup they use, and the PD engines come in various forms, from like the 100s to the 150s, and then there's the 16 valve versions, but we'll ignore them because I'm on about the 8 valves. Most of them is I think the 100 or 105, whatever people want to call them, 110, 130, which is the most common one, 150, which is not very common, and 160, which is rare as rockin' horse shit. But basically, the 130s are the most common ones, and you know, they're pretty quick, and they remap to even better. 150s are very similar to 130s, but not much. 150s have 20 more horsepower, but it's still the same basic engine, but they got stronger head bolts. But that's not a big deal because, you know, you can buy those stronger head bolts for about £10 from Euro Car Parts. You know, and you could then fit them, although that's work and I didn't want work like that. They've got a much bigger intercooler, which is handy, and they've got a slightly bigger turbo, like, I mean slight, but the difference is the 150s on all those standard parts remap to 190, and well, on a good day about 190 brake and 330 pound-foot of torque, which is a fucking lot, and that's a fair bit more than the 130s do. And most of all, that slightly bigger turbo seems to make these 150s rev out better at, you know, as the revs rise. You know, it seems to pull to 5 grand without any big drop off, whereas the 130s, you know, it seems to die out a bit sooner. Still shitloads of torque and whatever, still like 300 plus pound-foot usually, but yeah, they just don't rev out so easy. And while, you know, you could get a hybrid on a PD130 and it'd be far better than a 150, what I wanted to do is just get a fucking standard car, standard engine, use all the standard parts, even most of the standard exhaust, because I want it to be quiet, the standard intercooler, standard airbox, the fucking lot, and pull it in that, because they come with a 6-speed box, but the 130s do as well. So we priced it up, and in parts, you know, because you know, I can use the drive shafts, I can use the throttle pedal, the ECU, the wiring, everything. We worked out in parts you'd probably be spending, if you bought a brand new clutch and flywheel as well, which is probably a wise move, you're probably spending about 1,400 quid to get all the parts separately to fit one into a MR2, which isn't much, but you can buy complete PD150 engine cars for about that. So it's like, well, maybe I'm easier buying a car. So I had a look around, and the PD150 cars are mostly Leon Cupra TDIs, later Golf TDIs, especially the GT TDI, and a couple of oddball things that I didn't really know about. Cheap PD150 Golfs, like cheap ones, were all fucked, because, you know, no offense to Mark IV Golf people, but a typical cheap Mark IV Golf owner is basically just, is not going to be a looked after car. It's just a piece of shit, really. Cupra TDIs, cheap ones, to be fair, they weren't much better. They were a bit though, because they're Cupras and whatever, and unfortunately they're a lot more money. I did see one, because the later ones were called FR TDIs, like the last year or so, and I found one of them with a slipping clutch, but it was supplied with a new uprated one. I found one of them really tidy for like 1,500 quid, and I was considering it, and then it sold super fast, so I missed out. So I carried on my hunt, and I was thinking, maybe I'll just buy a pretty knackered body wise, but seemingly okay mechanically. I mean, okay, not amazing. Leon Cupra TDI probably would have cost me £1,000 or so, and it would have had a MOT enough that I could leave it on the street, but I won't be driving it much, because, you know, for that sort of money it was a piece of shit. But it's easier than going around hunting for parts. And then, just in my search for one, I accidentally clicked on this. It wasn't listed as anything much, it was listed as a 2005 Seat Toledo, nothing else. And obviously it looks like absolutely nothing, because it doesn't. There is no sporty intentions at all. But I read the description and it said it was an 150 brake model. It's like, what the fuck? And it looked very tidy in the pictures, and it was 850 quid and fairly local. So I did a bit of research, and they made a PD150 model, quite rare. It's called a Sport 150, and it was like, maybe this is it. And the interior looked a bit sporty and whatever, and it's like, well, I don't know if he's right or wrong. And the one way you're meant to know if something's a PD150 is the badge on the back will be, the TDI badge will be all in red. This one, it wasn't very clear in the pictures. Like, it looked like it was, but the pictures were a bit wank, so it was like, I can't even tell if that's all red or not. So I found somewhere online that did a free HPI check, and lo and behold, the HPI check showed it was called a Seat Toledo Sport 150. It's like, fuck yes, I didn't even know these existed. So I went and bought it. I literally jumped on the train, met the guy at the station, well, down at Lidl, down the road actually, because I need to go to the fucking toilet. So yeah, met him there, gave him the money. He wanted me to test drive it. I didn't even fucking want to, because I could tell it was fine. And yeah, it already had it. He'd owned it for 8 years. When he first bought it 8 years ago, he got it remapped, so it already is, you know, making the roughly 190 and 330 pound foot. And fucking hell, it feels like it. It's faster than I thought it'd be. It's pretty bloody quick. And yeah, it's ideal. It's actually that nice, and it's got a fairly long MOT, that until I'm ready to do the PD swap on the yellow one, as in once I get that out and the MR2 rolling shell goes to its new owner, I've been daily in this, and it's fucking lovely. 6-speed box, real nice interior, quiet, comfy, pretty fucking fast. Surprisingly, it actually surprised me how quick it is. Yeah, real good stereo even. It's actually a fucking lovely car. I feel a bit bad for bitsing it up when the time comes, but it's not worth anything. It's rare and it's lovely, but it's like, so, do you know what I mean? I shouldn't be precious over it, but it is nice. It's like, to drive, it looks like nothing, but it does actually drive really well. And comedy enough, I accidentally ended up racing wow, I won't say standard, because it had a big twin exhaust, but it clearly, you know, wasn't anything special, because they never are in this country. But a Mark III MR2 earlier in this, like 4 or 5 times as well, it just come flying up behind me, and I thought it was some kind of like Porsche Boxster or something until it got close, and it turned out it was a Mark III MR2. And yeah, various rolling start races up to, wow, up to far higher speeds than I've ever been in that yellow one. And this thing fucking obliterated it every time, even though this is like 300-400 kilos heavier than an MR2. It's like 50 plus, well, 50 odd horsepower and at least 100 pound-foot, no, more than 100, no, 102, wow, to be fair, almost 200 pound-foot of torque more. So yeah, this fucking obliterated it. So imagine this power in a car that weighs like 400 kilos less. It's gonna be fucking awesome. And this is part of the big thing I like about these PD engines, as well as being, to be fair, really reliable and really cheap. I've had a few before, and they last forever. They fucking cost nothing to fix, even if they do break, you know, they're nothing really. They're really economical. Like, you can beat on them and they still seem to do about 50 to the gallon. This thing, like on the motorway, even, you know, cruising 75-80, it shows 55-60 to the gallon. Yeah, it's actually fast as fuck, really, considering. So in something that weighs 400 kilos less, Thomas reckons his PD engine one, he was seeing about 65 to the gallon average, and he was, you know, playing around quite a lot in it and going quite fast sometimes. So yeah, although I will miss the quietness of this when it goes in that, because obviously MR2 soft top, you know, road noise and this shit is, and wind noise is way more than this comfy bastard. That's gonna be genuinely legit fast and super economical, so ideal for a daily really. So yeah, I have a new car, and yeah, that is where we are at the moment. Fucking very good, very pleased with this so far. Obviously there's still a ways to go with testing and mapping and whatever, but so far so good. I mean, no leaks, everything seems to run as it should, didn't catch fire, you know, as the video shows. We drove it up and down, well, I drove it up and down a fair few times, not, you know, give it loads yet because it's not mapped, but even going to not even 4,000 RPM, which was in that video. It was quick. You know what I mean? It's like, even Thomas said when I was nailing it, the front end lifts up, and yeah, I wasn't even going to fucking half its rev limit, really. Well, half its rev limit once it's mapped. So yeah, this thing's gonna be a weapon. Proper mid-engined, wow, sports car, whatever you want to call it. It would be a supercar with more power, but it's certainly a fucking legit sports car. Well, sports car killer. There's not many of them that's got like best part of 400 brake per ton. That is verging on supercar territory. But this has cost me absolutely nothing to build, and to be honest, it's easy too. So you could build them too, or pay Thomas to do so. Yeah, it's not cheap, as in, obviously you won't be able to do it if you pay Thomas as cheap as this, but it's still a fuck sight cheaper than, for the result, than literally anything else you can build. I mean, I'm saying this now just from my experience, but in coming videos, obviously I'll be testing it and you'll be seeing it on the road and in action, so you'll see what I mean. I'm not, you know, trust me when I say this, from 20 plus years of working around highly tuned cars, this is serious for the money, ridiculous for the money even. So hey, there you go. So yeah, hopefully the next video will be not 2-3 weeks away like this one was. Fuck, it could only be a few days away for all I know. Depends what I get on with in the next few days. But yeah, I'm still back here tomorrow because frankly I have to be, because wanking bastard delivery people didn't pick up this package which is there, which is going to America, and they was meant to come today and they didn't. So I'm gonna have to come here tomorrow to wait for them, but that just gives me an excuse to work on the car some more. So hey, right, anyway, like this video and comment and just do whatever to see if we can push this channel a bit, because you know, it'd be nice to actually make a few quid off it. I'm unlikely to, but you know, even 10,000 subscribers would be nice. I'm not that far away now, I don't think. But anyway, hopefully you like this shiz, and you'll be seeing a hell of a lot more action